That night I saw a dream, a vision. I saw myself in a place where it was so serene and peaceful. Different animals were gathered all around. All of a sudden a ferocious sounding and looking beast appeared out of nowhere, come running towards me. I ran from this thing. I ran. I took off from this thing, but it followed me. I couldn't escape it. And then I heard these words. Remember what I said. Remember what I told you. Call my name. And it came to me. And I barely whispered it. Jesus. And that thing screeched to a halt. Took off out of there. I heard those words. Turn around. Face your fear. It was a divine intervention in my life. My name is Stoney, and I'm from Fort Severn. First part of my life, I was raised at the old settlement. The old reserve was called Roxanne number 89. Roxanne was a hunting, trapping, surviving off the land community. I remember mostly in the winter time traveling by dog team, dog sled, and I was all bundled up inside. It was nice, it was calm, it was beautiful. 5 years is, I guess I would say, when I started school. That's when my parents moved from Roxanne to the community when I was a young boy. And then along comes Ralph Rowe, right? It was very brutal what he did, put it that way. And sometimes when I thought about it, oh, he spanked us, he spanked so-and-so, he spanked me. But it was hard, it was a beating, it was a brutal beating. And also whatever he did, groping and that. But all of that, and growing up, I stuffed it inside. It became manifested in different ways, anger and rage and heavy drug use, heavy drinking, which took a toll on my life.
Wasaho, also known as Fort Severn, is the most northerly community in Ontario. In Cree, Wasaho describes the bend in the Severn River where the reserve is located. We are here to speak with Stephen Stoney. Stephen is from Wasaho. He is a survivor of one of Canada's most notorious pedophiles. Many do not know the story of Ralph Rowe.
He fooled everybody. He fooled our parents and the elders, everybody, I believe. And he started doing what he did as a predator, setting us up. And of course, stuff that he said, if you tell anybody, you're not going to be part of the group, we're not going to go camping, we're not going to be part of the Boy Scouts, stuff like that. You're not going to be allowed to come back here. Yeah, the damage that had been done to us as boys carries on to this day. My dad always said you should talk about it, what happened with Ralph Rowe. But I would just get all angry and upset. Didn't know what good would it be to talk about it, I would think. Nobody cares, and nobody's going to help. Affected my marriage relationship. My children saw me suffering as a result of that. I had a couple overdoses. There were times I was separated from my wife and my kids, ended up in jail, or just drinking heavily. I ended up in the hospital in Sulcout, in the ICU. I heard somebody praying, and it brought me back to my childhood when at times I would go spend the night at my grandpa's house. And I felt a calm, a peace come touch me. And I thought to be a child again, if I could start life all over again, I would not make these choices that I made for my life that led me down this path. And then I saw my grandpa. He is praying for me. He's sitting on the bed across from me. We're in the same room. And it hit me that he's coming to the end of his life. He lived a full life, a good life. And here I am because of my choices.
It is believed he abused over 500 boys across the north in the 1970s and 80s. Ralph Rowe gained access to Northern Ontario and Manitoba by being an Anglican minister and a Boy Scout leader. He was also a pilot and would fly into First Nations on his floatplane to minister to the boys and take kids camping. Fort Severn is one of the places he would travel to. He also traveled to my own home community of Kingfisher Lake. I often think of my friends from when I was young, the ones who went on those trips and who were abused. So many of them have died. They left too soon for the spirit world, for violent deaths and suicides and addiction.
my wife got a message and she let out a gasp, she let out a cry. My granddaughter, Skyra, said Brad lost his daughter, and Brad is my son. Skyra is only 16. About 5 years now, this summer, we lost our son to an overdose. 29 years old, our middle son, and our daughter is still here and there, not really literally on the streets, but here and there, using drugs. And our oldest son just got out of jail about 4 or 5 days ago, and our youngest son is in a hospital, forensic range hospital, because of drug-induced psychosis brought on by the use of drugs. There's ongoing effects in my story, in my life, of this abuse.
Their spirits were broken. They could not carry on because of the abuse of Ralph Rowe, the violence and evil done to them. They did not ask to be born into the story, but they were. The story of Ralph Rowe is one of the horrors of Canadian history that many do not know about. It is a great open secret.
It almost destroyed me completely. I was just crying, I was just weeping, and dealing with those issues, remembering things that hurt, and the times that I've hurt people as well, and as well asking for forgiveness. And there's a releasing, and there's a healing, there's a cleansing that was happening as I was going through those times.
Some are able to share their stories now, and they are so courageous. Ralph Rowe broke the lives of so many. But today, the survivors of Ralph Rowe are still looking for healing. They want to live. The Anglican Church of Canada apologized in 2017 for Ralph Rowe's actions, and this has done little to help the legacy left behind. The survivors of Ralph Rowe across the north and their families are still in need of community support to assist with their healing.
To be out in the bay, along the coast, and driving out there, seeing the muskeg, the ridges and all that, brought back some memories even of when I was younger. I did a lot of hunting for my family. So I'm glad to be back, I'll say, because at one point in my life, when I was starting to be younger in my youth, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be in Fort Severn any longer. So that was a blessing for me to be able to do that, to go right out to the bay and look around and see that polar bear up close, going out to the cookout, seeing other friends and family members. It's just, that's how life used to be, the respect, honor, sharing, caring, part of a community.
We will continue to advocate for them. Miigwech to Stephen and all those who have shown us their courage in sharing their stories and seeking justice and healing.
Do something for yourself and your loved ones. Make a change in your life. That's the way it's going to happen. For your family, for your community, friends, even strangers. Never know who would be impacted by sharing our stories of how we overcome or how we were before and how we're seeking help now. I'm a teacher now, which I never saw myself to become anything like that as a result of what happened as a child. This day now, I'm not just a survivor. I'm not surviving. I have overcome, where I have attained something in life. I know I have peace within, even though I described some hard times I'm going through. I have a strength that I can rise above that, overcome that. You know, if it's possible for me, it's possible for anybody.